Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are just going to give it a minute for all of our webinar registrants to be able to be let in. So thank you for being here. Hello again and welcome. We're just going to give it another minute before we begin.
Carol. Oh.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to give it another minute before we begin our webinar. We have a few others still coming in. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. My name is Angie Hare, and I am proud to be part of the Sisters Rising Worldwide team. We are so glad to have you today for the Public Peace Room launch and demo webinar. We do hope that you will put in the chat your name and where you're joining us from, and we welcome all of our donors and partners and members of the media today. Just a quick overview of our agenda. We are going to hear from our founder and president, Sister Irene O'Neill. She's going to be sharing the vision for Sisters Rising Worldwide. And then our COO, Kelly Mallon Young, is going to be doing a live public peace room demo. And then we'll be hearing from Sister Mary Amanda Nwagbo, who has two projects in the peace room, and she'll be sharing those needs with us. And then we'll tell you how you can further engage with the Peace Room and with Sisters Rising, and then have plenty of time for questions and answers. So we do hope that throughout our presentation that you will put your questions in the Q&A, and then we'll lift those up to Sister Irene and Kelly and Sister Mary Amanda following the presentation. Well, now I am pleased as we open this public peace room to the world that this is a platform that we've been quietly working on at Sisters Rising Worldwide since 2021. And I'm really excited for Sister Irene O'Neill to share more of that vision with you. So Sister Irene, a sister of St. Joseph and founder of and president of Sisters Rising Worldwide. Take it away, Irene.
Right. I have been waiting for this moment, so I'm very excited to be here with everybody. Sisters Rising Worldwide was created by sisters for sisters. And a lot of people don't know that there are 650,000 sisters around the world across 190 countries. And I like to think of sisters as first responders, and it's because they live there. That's why they know what's going on. Somebody once told me that sisters are kind of like white blood cells in the body, where they just go to where the trouble is and just start healing the process. So I always kind of like that. Um, so what I knew when we were thinking about building Sisters Rising Worldwide is that sisters do a lot with the little. And when they come to the table for needs, they never come to the table for needs of their own. It's always for somebody else. And when the going gets tough, other organizations have to pull out and they stay. The sisters stay. And that's a really important part of their lives. Because they're on the front lines, sisters know of the social injustices that are happening in their community. So poverty, trafficking, gender-based gender-based violence. They know the solutions for those in their area. They also know what happens if there's a lack of education and healthcare. So imagine to yourself connecting this largest movement of women for good the world's ever known and having them able to share best practices, ideas, problems, situations, things, getting the intel from the other sisters in that huge movement across the world with so experienced people. So that's what inspired the Peace Room. Now, in 2021, it was finally ready to go for the sisters. And what Sisters Rising Worldwide did, those of us who are working behind the scenes, we just helped to amplify the stories and tell people what's going on. And for a lot of donors and everybody, it was the first time they've heard those right from the ground. We also worked very hard to secure resources so that they could start solving the problems around them and also increase the impact where they are. So since 2021, we have funded 184 programs across 44 countries, and over 500,000 people have been directly helped. So today, this part of this infrastructure of the Peace Room is going public, and I am so excited. We needed to do this because we wanted people to see firsthand all the good that's happening around the planet. You can help us spread that word, and you can actually help the sisters on the ground as well. And every day you would get a dose of good news of something if you just open the Peace Room and just see what's happening. So, and you could also feel like you're doing something too. A lot of people today are saying, how can I help? What can I do? So now in a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Kelly Mallon Young. But before that, I want to share some really exciting news that thanks to a small group of private donors who we call backers, all of Sisters Rising Worldwide operational costs are covered for the year 2026. Yay, I should hear clapping from everybody. That means that 100% of every gift goes directly to the sisters' programs on the ground. Now, I am thrilled to introduce Kelly Mallon Young. She's also, I think of her as co-founder, but she is leader of the team behind the whole development of the Peace Room. So welcome, Kelly Mallon Young.
Hi, Al. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be able to talk to you about the Peace Room. I was one of well, I've been there from the beginning. I've been on the front lines of this, from concept to build, to all the renovations. And it's just been really exciting to be able to develop this for the sisters. So, um, what has been interesting over time is that when we started sharing the Peace Room with the donors, we would now show them the stories, show them the impact, show them how the whole Peace Room worked, and people were getting excited. They were like, okay, we got the same question all the time. Can I have access to it? They wanted to feel the stories. They wanted to be a part of that impact. They wanted to engage more closely with it. Now, at the time, it's only built for the sisters. But for the last 6 months, we have been building the public Peace Room, giving you a glimpse inside the sisters platform. So I'm going to start sharing you a screen here and let me know. Okay. So this is our public website. Um, we're really excited to be able to show these programs because it not only gave the donors what they wanted is access to that information, but it also gives us the ability to share the incredible work of the sisters. Now, sisters are in schools and hospitals and they do a ton of that work, but the issues are so much bigger than that too. It's that with a whole bunch more. Sisters are protecting street children. They are empowering women that have been abused. They are building sustainable farming for to feed their community and also pay for the expenses to run their schools. So they're very active in a lot of different things. So this is our website, and it is www.srw.org. And to get to the public Peace Room, you would click on Sister Projects up here in one of the headers. If I click on that, as Irene said, and super excitedly said, that 100% of our donors' donation go directly to sister programs. Up here too, also on the right-hand side, you're going to see a tab that says, or look, thing says Learn How. This is exactly kind of what I'm going through that explains how to use the map. And so let's say you forget how something operates, or let's say you want to share it with somebody else, you can direct them to the learn how so they understand how to use the map. Let's get to the fun part. So this is the public view. As you can see on top, there are 473, 598 people that are looking for help through the sister programs. There are 95 campaigns and one crisis. To move around in this map, I can right click on this and I can move it all around. I can use the arrows down here and I can go side to side. I can go up and down, or I can simply just blow up the screen and shrink the screen. But if I go here, I am going to go to Kenya. If you see here, when I hover over the country, 27 is written right here. So that means there's 27 campaigns just in Kenya alone. If I click on Kenya, you can see, I can scroll down, I can see all 27 of the campaigns that are going on in Kenya. Every campaign will have a video or some still pictures, depending on what they send us. Underneath that, you will see the injustice the sister is addressing. So this one's education. If I go to the right here, you can see domestic violence, education, empowering women. You then see, if you scroll down, you'll see gold. There's $36,172 is what this sister is looking to raise. There's 15,000 people they will serve. And the leader is Sister Julia. Now I can click on Sister Julia's name. And now I can see the congregation that she works with, and also a little bit about her and the work that she does. So let's get out of Kenya and let's scroll over to India. Right here, there are 5 different campaigns in Kenya, and you can see this one has a scroll bar. That is because we have already started raising money. Somebody's already donated to this particular campaign. We also have the ability to share down here. So let's say I'm watching this video. This will give you an example of what they look like.
In Andhra Pradesh, India, countless women and children in poverty are vulnerable to sex trafficking, facing a bleak future without support. At Ujawala Home, our dedicated sisters are rescuing and rehabilitating these survivors.
So let's say I'm really excited and I want to share this with other people. I can click on this button right here, this red icon, and I can share it. So I can share it through Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or I can email the link, or I can simply copy it. So if I'm on my phone and I find a program that's very meaning to me, and I think my sister would enjoy reading it, I can click it, I copy the link, and then I can open up my messaging and I can go ahead and send that link to her and say, Chris, I really think you would enjoy reading this. Facebook works similar. I can go ahead and come up here. It takes me to my Facebook page. Well, maybe it won't because I'm on this. Yep. And then the link to that campaign is down here. And I can send my message and I can instantly share it. So we're trying to make it really easy for people to go ahead and share any campaign that they're very excited about. We also have this button called peer-to-peer, and I can click on that. This gives a little bit more information on the campaign, and it grabs more of the information from the PeaceRoom. And so get a little bit more detail. You can see the progress bar there. I can see who's supporting it and teams. So you can kind of create your own page. If I go back here, if I click this donate button, your donations go directly to that campaign. So if I donated $250, like then this would also move to 500. So it's kind of exciting to see that bar move as donations are coming in. But you might think, okay, this is a little overwhelming. There's 90, 5 campaigns, one crisis. So we go ahead and develop some abilities to sort through it. So if I click on this section here that's called All, there's a drop-down menu. If I unclick funding campaigns, I can go see crises. So right now, I know now the one crisis, it's going to serve 5,000 people. And you can see now my dot is in Ukraine. And there's a 1 right here. But let's say I want to now just see my funding campaigns. Now I can scroll around that. I see where all the funding campaigns are. And now I want to say, I'm really passionate about healthcare. So I'm going to click on health. And now my map adjusts. Some of the pins go away. Now it says I have 45 campaigns that deal with health. And it's going to help. And they are going to help over 377,000 people. Same thing, I can go to human trafficking and it can, the numbers will adjust to human trafficking. The other thing is we have some donors that donate particularly to a sister. So now they can direct their donors and friends to our website. They can click on this map. Now I can type in Lucy is one of the sisters, and I can search. And now Sister Lucy's program goes up, and then people can easily donate directly to that campaign. So as Irene said, these are all grassroots programs. So they're very exciting and they're very different and they're, just helping a lot of people. But more importantly, too, we also have to tell our donors of what success we are having. So what we did is we developed a tab up here. It's called Success Stories. And if I click on that, you're going to get the map again, but it's going to look a little bit different. On this map, the header is different, and it tells you how many people we have already helped, how many campaigns and crises we have funded, and how many countries we're serving in. So now I can scroll around, and now let's say I want to go to India, and I click on it. There are 4 different campaigns or impact reports, and you can get quotes from the sisters here, and I can read more. And it'll take me to a blog that explains a little bit about the impact that the donations have had. Now, this one actually talks about an individual that we were able to help. If I go back, let's say I back out of here by hitting this X, and I can also go to like Gambia. So let's say I had my friends, I had sent them this program and I wanted them to help donate, and they helped raise money for me for this program. Now I can easily click on this share button, and now I can email all my friends that helped me raise money, and I can send them directly to this campaign, and they can read the story of how we were able to help these children. So right now I'm going to introduce you to Mary Amanda. She has 2 active campaigns on our public website now. She is with the Sisters of Immaculate Heart of Mary Christ. She currently lives in Nigeria and is the Educational Secretary for Religious Schools, managing over 40 primary and high schools across Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and Tanzania. Welcome, Sister Mary Amanda.
Thank you very much, Kelly, and thank you, everybody. So Kelly has already introduced me, and so in 2018, I met Sister Judy Molosky, a member of the board, while I was doing my doctoral studies in California. And through her, I learned about the PeaceRoom and the Sisters Rising Worldwide. Eventually, I also became a member of the board. Then the PeaceRoom was just still almost an idea. So I was there at the beginning when the PeaceRoom became from an idea, became a reality, and then it has continued to evolve to what we have today, a public launch. So as a member of the board, it was so satisfying to see sisters projects being funded and help getting directly to those in need in different parts of the world. Because as sisters, we live and work where the people we serve are. We see their pains. We also see the possibilities and how we could help them. So we are able to actually identify the root causes of these problems and also how to resolve them because we are there. Sometimes we even experience what they are experiencing. So the PeaceRoom is actually very amazing. As Kelly just demonstrated, today I could go to any part of the globe click on any country or any project and then connect with a sister who possibly might be in the same situation as myself, and then we can connect, share ideas, share best practices, share solutions, or sometimes just encourage one another. In fact, for example, through the Peace Room, I was able to connect with a sister of Franciscan sister in northern part of the country who worked in a hospital when one of our hospitals needed assistance. And that sister I met in the Peace Room was able to offer that assistance. So, as Kelly said, I have two funding projects in the Peace Room. One is computer access for government mandated exams for our high school students. Last year, 2025, the Nigerian government mandated that the West African Senior Secondary Certificate examination for all high schoolers in West Africa will be computer-based. As private mission schools, all our schools receive zero funding from the government and from other agencies. And our religious institute have schools mostly in rural areas, serving low-income families. So our over 5,000 high school students with this government mandate for computer-based examinations are now left marginalized. So providing these computers for our students, we place them at the same level with their peers, giving them equal opportunity to be tested and to be compete and to be tested fairly. And we also know that computer-based 21st century is synonymous with being computer literate. So with access to computer-based teaching and learning, our students will not be left behind. The picture you are seeing here on the right-hand side, you'll see over 30 students, huddling together in about 10 computers, and they are taking turns to do that. So our religious institutes are unable to provide the needed computers for our students to be able to learn and then compete with their peers. And then also the second funding project I have in the Peace Room is embedding sustainable agriculture into the curriculum. As a result of food insecurity and hunger in Nigeria, which is a known factor, our boarding school students are also not exempt from this situation. So the funding project seeks to find lasting solutions to this food crisis in our country. A pilot school has been identified with vast land and fertile land where in Southeast Nigeria, where we can use these funds when we get them to hire agro-based teachers and also purchase or hire farming equipment, hire workers, buy grains, clear the ground, and possibly even build fish ponds or even chicken houses, so that when these funds we get these funds, the systemic impact here will be that our students are helped to learn sustainable farming as part of their curriculum. Then we can begin to implement food growing and possibly animal husbandry into our school curriculum, so that these our students, they not only have enough food to eat, they also know how to produce and even prepare these foods for themselves and their families. Therefore, when they graduate from high school, they are already self-reliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sister Mary Amanda, for all the amazing work that you are doing in Nigeria with the youth. And thank you again, Sister Irene and Kelly, for sharing your vision and this amazing Peace Room platform. Really quickly, we just want to review how you can engage with the Peace Room and with Sisters Rising. So as Kelly mentioned, you can visit the public Peace Room at srw.org/needs. And there you can search sister-led projects like Sister Mary Amanda's by country or by issue that is important to you. And then we do encourage that you would share those projects with your network, either through social media or by copying the link and putting it in a text or an email. And if there's a project that speaks to you, we hope that you would consider supporting it. We also would love for you to join our email list. You can do that by going to srw.org and scrolling down to the bottom, joining both our newsletter list and then a new feature called the Weekly Sign of Peace, where we'll be sending a weekly short video from a sister. And again, we want to thank all of our generous donors, our backers who have covered all of our operational costs for 2026, so that 100% of donations from this moment forward go directly to sister-led projects. So now we're going to move on to our Q&A portion. And we have our very first question from a donor, and it's for you, Sister Irene, who says, I love this. How many sister orders are supported by SRW and the Peace Room?
That's a great question. What I can easily answer is that there are 1,900 orders in the world. And we have not counted actually the different orders that we had that are on the Peace Room, but quite a number of them are on, and there's a number of sisters from each one, but there's still a lot more sisters to come on the Peace Room. So we're expecting an influx at any moment. I always tell everybody and our staff that keep your seatbelt on, because when the nuns figure this out, it's really gonna just explode open. So, but we'll never have more. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say we never have more than 1,900 different orders, but that's the number of orders right now on the planet. So we have a subset.
Thank you, Sister Irene. Sister Mary Amanda, Gina is asking, how would you have funded your programs without the Peace Room?
Oh, that's an interesting question, because you know that I've been with the Peace Room since the beginning, and this is the only time I am actually putting an active funding project, because without the Peace Room, it would have been quite completely impossible. Like I mentioned at the beginning, our schools receive zero support from the government, from any other agency. So without the Peace Room, we don't know what we would have done. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is for Kelly from Sister Juliet from Zambia. She says that she submitted a program into the Peace Room and is wondering then what would happen next once her program gets approved.
Well, once the programs get approved, we send out a grant for them to sign. And then once we get the paperwork back, we go ahead and release the funds. And then what happens is they will see a 6-month impact report and a 12-month impact report. So then we're gathering information at those 2 points so we can start getting stories so we can share with our donors.
Great. And Kelly, there's a follow-up question to that. How often are new sister projects added to the Peace Room?
They're added as they come in. So every 2 or 3 days, my team goes in and we review the campaigns, and we make sure all the information is there. So we can go ahead and post it, and then we'll publicly display it on the Peace Room. So it's on an ongoing basis as campaigns come in.
Great. Sister Irene, this one is for you. Catholic sisters were such a large part of my childhood. Let's see. It's time for me to support these wonderful women's charitable efforts. Thank you for who said that. Besides in the Peace Room, how else can I get involved with Sisters Rising Worldwide?
Well, what we really look for is spreading the word, because the more people that know about it, the more potential funding we have to fund more programs. One of the issues that we have about when we have sisters coming in en masse, is that they're going to want to have a program also funded. Now their costs aren't, their needs are not huge, but we want to make sure that we can keep matching it. So one really nice thing that's been happening around the country right now is that there are people who are having groups, we're calling them just circles. They're gathering just people that they know and talking about Sisters Rising Worldwide among their work. It could be colleagues, sometimes it's a book group, it's different people. So what we really like is to really spread the word seriously. And I'm happy to zoom in, and in some cases, I'd be happy to come and meet with a group as well, just to talk about it, to make it real personal. We really need the word to get out.
Great. Thank you, Sister Irene. Kelly, Josephine is asking if you have considered adding WhatsApp to the sharing options from the Peace Room, since many people tend to use that.
Duly noted. We can think about adding that to the share button.
Okay, Sister Irene, another question for you. Michael asks, can this information be made available for donor advised fund platforms?
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
Oh,
and then a follow-up to that, can an instance of the Peace Room be available, for example, on the website of local Catholic foundations or just foundations in general?
can the link of this be available?
Yes, I think a project in the Peace Room.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Spread the word. The Peace Room is open for business. So let's just spread it out. Get it as far as you can. I have a little button. See a Peace Room button. It's the logo right on my and even just the more you can talk about it, the better it is. It's just I think people need the good news besides.
Kelly, this one is for you from Sister Joyce. How long does it take for a project to be funded?
That's a good question. That has changed over time. We used to fund things pretty much every quarter, but now we have about $3.3 million in projects. So if, we usually fund, the last one and we fund first. However, there are some times that we have campaigns and a donor will be wanting to support boreholes, right? So we'll pull up 3 or 4 different projects with boreholes and he'll fund those 3. So it doesn't always go in order, but so it can take anywhere from, 2 to 3 months to a year to fund them.
Great. And then another question from Deanna. How often does the Catholic Church then donate and support these sister-led projects?
Well,
That's for Irene
usually,
or I?
yeah.
Oh, either one of you. That's for,
Kelly.
for anybody, really.
No. Usually sisters are funding their own projects. Sisters projects usually come from the sisters, and the sisters are the ones who are looking for funding. So there isn't any official funding from the hierarchy to sisters programs. Unless they're working in the church, for the church, in the church, in the building. So
Great. We have another question for either Irene or Kelly. If all donations are used for projects, how is the staff paid?
Well,
let me say first for you, Kelly. Kelly has been a volunteer since the very beginning. And I'm telling you, she works more than full time. So, and I'm volunteer, but however, we are building a staff, we're building an infrastructure. It's really been fabulous. Uh, and when I announced the fact that there was a small group of people who said this is the Sisters Rising Worldwide is so important that we're going to back it for this whole year. We're going to pay for the infrastructure. And we call them backers, our backers. So we always will accept new backers, because if you can imagine going forward where we have backers saying, I'm in with the behind the scenes infrastructure so that 100% can go to the sisters. Imagine the flourishing that will happen around the world.
It's great.
Kelly, do you want to talk about volunteering 100%? What you really benefit as gifted with?
this is my feel-good job now. Yeah, no, it's as we expand, it started off with just Irene and I, and we were volunteering our time and we still do to go ahead because it's just really important to us both. But we can't do it alone, so we've had to hire more staff, and we could really even use more staff, a marketing team and stuff, because, like I said, getting the word out is really important. So our backers really donate us increasing staff and some other outside contracted employees.
And then we find people like Angie. Isn't she fantastic?
Kelly, this next question is for you.
Yes.
And one of the webinar attendees says, I support many nonprofits and I've noticed that donations are down across the board. Have you been seeing, have the sisters been impacted too?
I would say Sisters Rising Worldwide, we're still doing, every year we get more and more donations, so we are on upgrade. But yes, we hear from a lot of sisters that they used to get funding from other places possibly, and then we all know about USAID that is, all dwindling away. So a lot more sisters are coming to us and asking us for assistance. But our big thing is when we talk about what we're doing, this is really a humanitarian organization. Everybody that we talk to gets excited about what we're doing. They start hearing these stories and they feel good. They want to be a part of that. And that has helped us constantly increase our donations year over year.
Can I add a little thing too to that? Is that when the other NGOs and the USAID had to pull out of the countries, there was no information getting to anybody in the United States as to what's happening. And so I've had a couple of calls where people will call me and say, could you tell me, is there a sister in this area? Like in this city, in this country, and could we connect to find out what's really happening there? And so the need has increased, obviously, because now it's just Sisters Rising. But they don't have the information to know what's needed. We do. We now know.
Mhm.
Sister Mary Amanda, this question is for you. Can you speak to the importance, this is from Linda, sorry. Can you speak to the importance of sisters connecting with each other throughout the Peace Room?
Oh, yeah, this is actually very beautiful because sitting here, living and working in Nigeria, now I feel like this religious life is actually not lonely. And going to the Peace Room and seeing what sisters are dealing with, sometimes, honestly, I feel encouraged that I am not alone and that actually I'm not, I mean, there are so many needs in the world and that we are actually helping people. So connecting with sisters, knowing what they are going through, seeing what they are going through the funding campaigns they have in the Peace Room gives a sense of sisterhood that this life is actually worth living. We're actually doing something good for people. Even when I am in my small world, I know that I am connected with the rest of the sisters all over the world that are helping people directly. So it's been wonderful. Now I know that sisters are all over the world. Actually, sometimes there are places I see in our Peace Room that I didn't even know sisters are existing, that sisters are there, but seeing that a funding campaign is going on there, I'm like, okay, wow. So sisters are also in this part of the world that ordinarily you wouldn't think that a sister will live and work there. But wherever the people are, sisters are there. So it's beautiful.
Thank you so much for that. Kelly, Sister Joyce is asking, can a sister congregation send more than one project into the Peace Room?
Absolutely. There are a lot of congregations that have a few programs on it. And sometimes we work with sisters that represent a bunch of different sisters in their community that the sister might not have good cognitivity or maybe computer illiterate or whatever it might be. So one person is the point person for that congregation. So she might represent 1,000 different sisters, but then she can have multiple programs on. But yes, it's they put a program in and they can have multiple campaigns pertaining to that program.
Great. Sister Irene, Shirley is asking, how can we volunteer from different countries?
Ooh. Well, with the sisters, for sure, it would be notifying them of the Peace Room. And that would be really great because there is no list of the 650,000 sisters on the ground. We have the list of the leaders of the 1900 congregations, but not of the sisters. And so it's important to really notify the sisters so that they know we're here as well to help them do the work on the ground. So that would be a really great thing. But there are also international people who can also fund internationally, and we're happy to talk with those people too.
Kelly, this has been directed toward you. Am I able to support more than one sister program in the Peace Room? And can the funds be restricted?
So yes, as I said, when you can, yes, you can adopt as many sisters as you want and help them and that's really exciting too, because then you get a real connection with the sister. A lot of them travel out there and see them. But yes, you can donate to as many sisters as you want. And what was the second part of that question?
Can it be restricted?
Oh yeah. So when you are in a particular campaign, when you're hitting that donate button, that goes directly to that campaign. Other times too is we get checks sent into us and it just says for what sister program it's for. So every campaign has a number and a sister associated with it. So, yes, we can easily do that. And yes, we have a lot of restricted funds coming in.
Another one for you, Kelly. Many Catholic teachers in classrooms are looking for programs to support. Is this an option for them?
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. We've talked to some Catholic schools and have been kind of treading water trying to figure out what's the best way to do that. But yes, that's definitely something that we would like to do.
Can I add to that too a little bit since education was my background, so I get excited to hear questions like that. The nuns are in every area. I mean, you heard today even from Amanda about the growing food and sustainable farming and that kind of stuff. And the students in schools can actually get on the Peace Room and see what's happening. What are the sisters doing? They're asking for needs for different programs, and you could put in to find out what's the agriculture like, what's the trafficking like. They're learning about anti-trafficking as well in the schools. They don't know what to do, or how do we work with healthcare, whatever the topic is. And if you go into the Peace Room, you can find the programs like that and see what is the need, because they'll name what the problem is and what they want to do as a solution. So it would be interesting if children and high school students, whoever students looked in there and then could not only see what the problem was, what the root cause was, what the solution is, and then check back in 6 months and a year and start reading the impact reports. So I think it would be great to get Catholic schools involved. That'd be so great.
Kelly, can you share a little bit more about how sisters are vetted to join the Peace Room?
This is a very important one with all these scams kind of going on around the world. We're very protective on who can get into the Peace Room. So the process would be they would register first just with their congregation name and email. And then they have to complete 3 different stages. And during that time, we vet them. And we work with some of the leaders in different countries, and we have them vetted through there. Part of the process also is they need to go ahead and put the secretary's email and phone number and their leaders. And so we vet them in multiple different ways. And then we also set up a Zoom call with them. So when they get started, we do a Zoom call to just get to know them. And yeah, we have some people that have been trying to get on and we're like, you're not a sister. So yeah, we're very protective of that. And it takes us sometimes a little bit longer than we want to vet somebody, but we just want to make sure everybody that's on there is valid.
Okay, final question, so we can wrap up on time here. Yes, Sister Irene, this is for you. What are the biggest needs that you're currently seeing from sisters in the Peace Room?
Well, the number one need is financing to help increase their impact. So I just want to say that. But I would say that I would go as far as to say that 100% of the sisters actually are impacting the trafficking, what's happening, because what they do is work against the traffickers, against the trafficking. They try to protect and teach and educate on how to make sure that the young girls or boys are not vulnerable to being trafficked. So that's one big one. I'm seeing a lot of movements right now across the African continent in many back areas in the countries, healthcare, where the sisters have really just started clinics the best they can. And then they realize the need is just huge. And then they're slowly building it up and asking for more instruments to help a lot with maternal health and that kind of, and children's health. So that's another one. But And the other thing that's really popping up in just about everywhere also is care of the earth and being able to have sustainable farming. And so that's starting to crop up more than it has, say, even 4 years ago. It's very interesting. You all are going to want to play with this. I'm telling you, you're going to get out of this Zoom and you're going to go right to that peace room. You're going to learn so much.
Well, thank you all. Thanks for those great answers to those questions. And Sister Irene, would you like to wrap us up today?
Sure. I just want to thank everybody for taking time. Time is so expensive, and we're just so grateful for you to come and to learn about this. And I want to thank you ahead of time for all the people that you'll contact about this as well. So I invite you to follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook. So watch for us there. And when you get into the website, there's a way to get on our mailing list. And the mailing list is an email list. So we don't really mail papers or anything. It's an email list. But you'll receive hot off the press some of the impact videos and things that we get from the sisters, and we can tell you what's going on around the world. It's really very interesting. So be sure to subscribe to that. And if anybody on the Zoom is today is part of the media, you can go to media@srw.org and contact us there. And if anybody still has general questions, I'm sure that as soon as we hang up, that's when all the other questions come on, right? So if you have another question, go to srw.srw.org and you'll be able to lead questions there. So I feel like I should be ringing bells or something because I want to say the Peace Room is now officially opened. So to all of us to all of you who believed in strengthening communities around the world through trusted local leadership, we can't wait to meet every single one of you. So thank you very much. Thanks for coming.